one gargantuan SUV. Some call it a cruise ship, some call it a tank, but it is one huge SUV that seats 8 people. This is the 2020 Lexus LX570. It is huge. It has a lot of power and a lot of off-road capability, but there's a lot of negatives to it as well. So we're gonna let you know, is the 2020 Lexus LX570 worth buying? We're gonna give you a Car Coach Reports rating on a lot of different facets of things that affect you every day. In the end, we'll give you a value rating and a total so that you know what you're getting into before you decide to make a purchase. There's a lot of great deals out there now, so you wanna make sure you're making the right purchase for you, and it's not just about price. Let's go for a ride. Under the hood is a 5.7 liter V8 engine. And that's one of the issues. It has great power, but you pay for it at the gas pump. That's 12 miles to the gallon in the city, 16 on the highway, 14 combined. That's 383 horsepower, 493 pound-feet of torque. It's a real all-wheel drive, all the time vehicle, so that's kind of killing the fuel economy, but it is backed up by an 8-speed automatic transmission, and it does have some great off-road capability. So this is one seriously large SUV. There's a lot of them on the marketplace, but let's see how this one does 0 to 60 in normal mode. And that's 60. So you can hear that V8 engine just roaring. So there's an eco mode, a sport mode, and a normal mode, and that was in normal where you'd usually be driving it, maybe on an on-ramp, having to pass someone. It's a lot of engine, it's very loud. I think you could do a lot more with maybe using some sort of hybrid technology, or even yet, a turbocharger. Honestly though, I prefer a naturally aspirated engine when it comes to performance. It's not necessary these days when it comes to an SUV because it's about fuel economy, it's a family vehicle, and if you're running your kids around in a normal week, back and forth to school and sporting events and friends and everything else that we all do in our lives, you're gonna be stopping at the gas station probably more than once, and that can get expensive. The one thing you are giving up when it comes to having a naturally aspirated V8 is fuel economy, and that is something you're definitely giving up. With only 12 miles to the gallon in the city, I don't know, I think it really impacts the performance of this vehicle because it is an SUV, and for that, I gave it a 7. If you're looking for a more reasonable version of the LX570, you can always take a look at the Toyota Land Cruiser. We have reviewed that, and that's something that might be of interest to you. But if you're saying, no, I gotta have luxury, and I want off-road capability, and I want everything, then you're gonna wanna look at the Lexus. If you're a Toyota person through and through, because of the same vehicles, they just happen to have more luxury, and this has the air suspension, which gives it more capability both on-road and off-road. Now when you're talking about drivability, because it is an all-wheel drive vehicle, you will not get stuck in the snow, and I live in Buffalo, so we have snow. Trust me, this thing will get you through pretty much anything. And part of the off-road capability actually gives you a crawl mode. It has ability to lock the differentials. So it has a lot more than just your average SUV. However, driving it every day, I have a complaint. The steering effort is so much more than any of the competitors. You really have to put a lot in. It's what they call heavy steering. And I really don't like that heavy steering feel. It makes it more difficult to get in and out of parking spots. It just makes it more cumbersome, more like a tank or a cruise ship. And I have issue with that. Now you may not, but remember, if you're driving this every day, you don't want to have to put that much effort in. If you want to work out your arms, go to the gym. And because of that, I impacted my rating on handling because it's not just the ride, it's the steering input. It's all of it combined, and I had to give it a 6. Obviously, having a full-size SUV that seats 8 people, safety is going to be a top priority. And because I do call it a tank or a cruise ship or whatever you want to call it, a big boy, it has a lot of safety. But not just because of that, because Lexus has a full suite of safety systems that are really excellent. From the head-up display to the backup camera to all the safety features, the lane departure, which you can turn on and off. And personally, I test it and then I shut it off. But it has a lot of great features that make this an extremely safe vehicle. And Lexus is known for having safe vehicles. And for safety, it absolutely earns a 9. When you have a large SUV, like when you're thinking like a Suburban or an Escalade or anything that's in that category, it's a huge category. I think one of the things you think you're going to give up is visibility. But one of the things you gain is the higher ride height. And that is one of the things I think the LX570 really succeeds in, is its really, really high ride height. I'm 5'8", and I can see well over the hood. And the fact that it's got a huge piece of glass windshield, the sills are low, which is great. I can see out the back. However, I'm not really happy about the center headrest blocking my vision, so I may not see something behind me. Yes, there's backup cameras. Yes, there's side view mirrors, and the mirrors do tilt down when you go into reverse. But overall, for visibility, as long as the headrests aren't in the way, it would be a lot better, but there's no way to get them out of your way. So overall, when you're looking at visibility, I gave it an 8. You will probably note that one of the things I cover on all of my reviews is seating comfort. And why is that? Because no matter how long you own the vehicle, it won't get more comfortable. And number 2, the seating comfort is so critical because you live here. The vehicle could look amazing from the outside and the inside, but where you sit in this vehicle, the controls and the visibility are really important because you got to live with it, certainly for more than a year, and it could be years to come. For the driver's seat, there is lumbar and quite a few adjustments, and it's pretty good. And the seating is comfortable, it's heated, it's cooled, you can make it automatic so it can adjust when you turn on the vehicle. It knows it's cold outside, it heats up the seats. Excellent. Going over to the passenger side, same thing. Very nice, controls, buttons, 3-stage heated and cooled. Well done. Let's take a look at the second and the third row, and then I'll give you a rating. Going to the second row, there is a lot of headroom, shoulder room, and enough for 3 people. That's important when you're hauling a family. In addition, right in front of you, you can order the optional screens. This is the entertainment system, and yeah, it's impressive. Not just the wireless headsets, which your kids will love. You may not, because you won't be able to talk to them because they're going to be so absorbed into this, but it's good for adults as well. The screen gives you the ability to watch whatever you want. When you go into the center console, there's a remote. And yeah, it's really easy to use. I can see the kids fighting over this, but that's not the point. The point is you each have your own good-sized screen. It's the size of an iPad. In addition to that, you've got the 4-zone climate control, which means heated and air-cooled seats in the second row. That's pretty impressive as well, and the ability to adjust everything as you need. In front of you, you've got places to charge. You can adjust your volume, which I would prefer to see on the side, but either way, the fact is there's 2 vents, tons of storage back here, and pretty impressive. Let's take a look at the third row. Getting back to the third row isn't easy. You put the seat forward, you then push it down and pull it back. And I'm gonna tell you, I have no idea how I'm gonna get out of this thing. It's pretty tight back here, and you would probably not want to put adults on a long road trip. My knees are up very high. It's very limited space. There's 2 cup holders back here, and honestly, this is not meant for an adult. When it comes to technology, you got to take a look at this map. I'm sorry, it's about, 7 or 8 years old. Everybody's doing some form of Google Maps or the ability to see it in a clearer way. Although there is great audio system in this vehicle, the controls are just dated. And my natural reaction is to touch the screen, and it doesn't work. You can't touch the screen. You have to use this horrid joystick. Really hate this joystick. I've complained about it for years. Yes, you get used to it as you own it, but honestly, to get it exactly where you want it is extremely frustrating. You can change all the different views. Getting to the menu, this is really outdated. I'm sorry. I love Lexus products. It's got to be updated. You've got to compete with your competitors who have not just touchscreen, but easier to use interfaces. It has to be intuitive, and when it's not, it's frustrating. So when you go to the gauges in front of you, they're real gauges. I love that, and the fact there's more information here than I could possibly use. From a technology standpoint, there is a lot of features here, and some you won't use, some you will use every single day. Remember, this is something that you can use for not just on-road, off-road, but you can use it all the time. But when it comes to technology, this interface kills it in points, and I only gave it a 7. When it comes to features, there are a ton of features on the Lexus LX570. You're talking about all the goodies in front of you. You've got everything you need on the steering wheel. The gauges in front of you are excellent. You've got your head-up display, easy buttons. You don't have to go through 30 layers to get everything. So feature-wise, fabulous. Your controls on the door, including memory seat. Looking at the center stack, you've got all your controls, easy to use, climate control, easy to access the radio, which I appreciate because some of them you have to use only the joystick or the multimedia interface, and then you lose that ability to get to things quickly while you're driving, and it's a distraction. Going further down, besides the Mark Levinson audio system, which is fabulous, going further down, there is something that drives me absolutely crazy. Many of us have the larger phones. Now, this is not the biggest phone on the market. This is just an iPhone. But even the older iPhones, none of them fit on the wireless charger. If you're going to put in a wireless charger and you can't use it, then it's just a place to store your garbage. So keep that in mind, Toyota, Lexus, when you make a spot, or any car manufacturer, when you make a spot to put my phone, let me make sure my phone goes in so I don't have to hook up a cord, which I find extremely frustrating, and I use multiple phones in order to give you all the goodies and information that you need. One thing that's important to note, some of the features can get very expensive. I love the Mark Levinson audio system. However, the price is $2,350. Some of the features are pretty impressive. You've got the adaptable variable suspension with ride height adjustment, excellent crawl control if you're using it off-road, your drive modes, your heated and air-cooled seats, and the beautiful walnut steering wheel, which is $150, which I would say, if you like walnut, that's not an expensive option. And when you're looking at a base price of $91,000, it's a lot of money. That puts you right up there in Lincoln and even Porsche Cayenne, and you're pretty way up in that high range. It's a very expensive car. It comes in over $100,000 for our test vehicle. Yes, it has the totally awesome entertainment screens that are in the back seat. It's nice if you want to use it and you have a need for it. But if you don't just buy it to have it. It just starts adding up and getting very expensive. One of the new options for 2020 is the cool box in the center console. That means you lose the storage in the center console. It's just a cool box. It's $170, but if you need to keep a lot of things cool, your lunch, formula, whatever it might be, then $170 is not that expensive. Just remember, you do lose some of the storage. One of the options is a 4-zone climate and second row heated seats. That's $1,190. Although there's not much new for 2020 when it comes to interior features, it still offers a lot considering the competitors in the category. And for features, I gave it an 8. When it comes to design, this is a personal thing. I've never been a big fan of this gigantic grille with a huge logo. Every brand is doing it. I get it. It's part of letting everyone know what you're driving. This is a very unique look, and it's a personal taste. I love the headlight design. I think they did a really nice job. I like how the hood has some design and shape to it, but it's functional. It has to do with airflow. When you have a big vehicle like this with a huge front end, you have to get the air smoothly going over the top. They did a nice job on design. Like I said, I'm really not the biggest fan of this gigantic grille. I do like these 20-inch alloy wheels. They look great, and they fit in nicely with the design of the whole vehicle. This is a pretty big vehicle. And the running boards that are integrated, that's pretty smart, as well as a roof rack. The design on the rear is nice. It's actually very appealing to me. I love the LED lights. They've done a great job with design. Not a fan of the split tailgate, but overall, when it comes to design, I gave it an 8. When you're talking about quality of any vehicle, it's not just the exterior components and how well the panels fit together and how quiet the ride is. It's also the inside of the vehicle. Inside the vehicle, the leather is really nice quality. It looks like it's got really good wear and tear, and the real walnut steering wheel. They've done a really nice job looking at the details. Whether it's outdated or not, it has to do with the quality of the components and the materials, and for quality, I gave it a 10. One of the things that drives me crazy about this vehicle is that only half the tailgate goes up. Now, there are other vehicles like BMWs and Volvos. I've seen that before as well. So it's not like it's something unique to Lexus. But when you have groceries, it's great because you have a place so they don't fall out. But when you have to put a lot of things in, you have sort of a split tailgate, which is good for a tailgate, but it doesn't operate on the remote. Again, that's sort of something that's frustrating to me. But when you're looking at the storage back here, there is some limitations. When the third row is up, there's only about 16.3 cubic feet of storage. That's not a lot. With the third row folded up in this extremely unique way, it is 41.6 cubic feet of storage. But it's not like it's square storage. It's sort of odd. One of the complaints I have is the storage and the limitations you get with putting the third row up. So to get the third row down, not too bad when you got kids that have to jump in back, and that gets you the other side as well. It does limit the storage, and then you have to bring the back of the seat up as well. Again, this is not a vehicle I would own because I would find this extremely frustrating. When other vehicles in this category that are $100,000, you better put the back of the seat up for me. With the second row folded down, you have 81.3 cubic feet of storage. However, keep in mind, mid-size SUVs have that kind of storage. An Acura MDX, there's a lot of vehicles in that category, and they have that much storage. So what you're losing having a 3-row SUV like this is because of the way the seats are stored. That's a limitation. If storage is important to you, when the third row is folded up, you're going to have limited storage. An important factor to consider depending upon your lifestyle. When you're looking at an overall value of $91,000 to start, and of course you're going to want all those extra goodies because the dealer's going to have those on the lot with a lot of the goodies on it, this vehicle's over $100,000. Yes, there's incentives and all kinds of finance discounts, but it's really important to note, value-wise, there's a lot of product in this category that offers a ton more for less money. Even if you're looking at the Cadillac or the Lincoln, you're getting a luxury vehicle, and it's really important to do the math because the value on this is only a 6. Although there's so many great features and a lot of positives to the LX570, it's really important to drive all the competitors. Check your insurance ratings. That's going to make a difference on whether you purchase this vehicle or something else. Might be saving money, you might not. Again, everybody's different. That's based on a lot of different factors. The total score for the 2020 Lexus LX570 is 77. Now, other vehicles in this category have ranked much higher, so it's really important to check out some of the reviews that we've done. And if you're thinking about rebates, we've listed all the May 2020 rebates. We'll continue to list them for every single month so that when you're looking to buy, we're giving you the most car smarts you can have. That way you're getting the best value all the way around. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that little bell so we can empower you to make great decisions. We appreciate you watching. Thank you for your support on our Patreon page and your comments down below. I will answer them. Take care. We'll see you next time.